So I applied and I had the interview. And when I went in and I was like, look, I felt confident. I really did. I was like, look, whatever. I can figure this out. I can do this. Now, why did I have confidence?
Welcome back to the Cybersecurity Mentors Podcast. And today we have a good one for you. I mean, this is a problem that I believe a lot of people suffer through. So we're going to talk about it. So in episode 1, we helped restart your career, restart your whole cybersecurity journey. In episode 2, we helped you focus on picking one direction. So today we're going to talk about another big reason why people sometimes jump off their path or they just don't get to their finish line. And that is having confidence in cybersecurity, in what you're doing, in your entire journey. So by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to rebuild that confidence. John and I have some ideas on what can help, on what will help you kind of get over that hump and just rebuild that confidence and, say goodbye to that imposter syndrome and get you on track, man. Get you on track to feel good about what you're doing, have some confidence, and then kill it.
Yeah, so what is the problem, right? What does it look like? How does it manifest? So a lot of it, okay, you're trying to build your career, you're trying to interview, you're trying to land the job, you're trying to sound good when you actually show up for the interview, or you get the job, get your foot in the door, and you finally get that job. Now what? Okay, now I'm supposed to be ready. I'm supposed to be able to hit the ground running. And all of us run into the same problem along the way in our journey. Why is this a problem? Well, if you don't have the confidence when you do speak to that hiring manager or you do show up for the interview, it might make you less of a candidate. They may look at you and say, well, this person doesn't sound confident and competent in their skills to be able to speak to those skills and answer the questions correctly and or communicate well and communicate effectively, right? And if you aren't able to do that, they might look at another candidate because they're like, well, wait a minute, this person, in fact, they just sound like they're timid, they're shy, they just don't want to speak up, right? And you don't sound, not that you have to yell your way through it, but you do want to be able to sound confident that you can do the job, right? That you are here. You've built your skills up. You're at a position that you are ready to hit the ground. You want to learn. You're here to learn. But you're here to kick butt and take names, right? And if you don't feel that way, or you never even apply because your confidence is so low, well, what are all those opportunities that you miss because you didn't submit your application because you didn't feel like you were ready? I'm not ready. So how can I apply? I don't have all the things I need to have. I need to be perfect. Look at the job posting. It has all these things. I don't have all these things, right? So how do you be ready and be prepared and have that confidence? And then when you get in the door, not feel like I shouldn't be here, right? I'm faking it. They're going to find me out, right? And so that's the problem.
I completely agree. And I want to add a couple of things because we have a number of experiences specifically working with people that are brand new to cyber. They are career changers or even students. And now they're trying to take that step into the professional world. And the problem is, you said it, John, we say it all the time. People may give you this idea that cybersecurity is all sunshine and rainbows when it's not. It is not. But they make it seem like it's very easy. Like, hey, follow this 6-month boot camp and it'll get you from zero to get you hired. It's not that easy. There are so many things that you have to put in play, that you have to do to help you get that introduction, to help you get your foot in the door. So that alone, if you follow that plan, if you go through that 6-month program or whatever, and then at the end you don't get what you were promised, then you start kind of second guessing yourself. You start kind of second guessing what you've done, all the hard work you've put in. That is also part of the problem. And I get it. It's tough. Not to mention recently, right now, with just the workforce, what's going on with the economy and what's going on on the political spectrum and just everything around, at least within the US and even around the world. There's just so many things that add on to just that, like, oh my God, like, do I really want to do this? Like, how sure am I that I want to leave a job that, hey, maybe this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life, but it's secure. I'm making some money. I'm doing okay. I'm not dying of hunger over here. Do I really want to try and make that jump when we're seeing all of these layoffs recently from the federal government? And I'm starting to see a lot of people on social media like actually be more real about their experiences, because at one point it was just all, like I said, sunshine and rainbows. You applied, everybody got a job. Now, not so much. Now you're starting to see what really is like when you go and you try and hunt for a job. It's not that easy, and you're going to get a ton of rejections. You're fighting with a large number of other people that maybe watched the same YouTube video that you did and did everything the same way, and now you and them are exactly at the same playing level, and it's them and 30, 40, 50 other guys or girls that are going after the same job. And you knowing that, all that plays a mental game on you, and all that is just parts of the reason why maybe the lack of confidence that you have in yourself and that you have in the ability to get out of your comfort zone and go apply for those jobs. I think it's a big problem. I mean, it really is. But, we're going to talk about how we can push through that and how we can just better position ourselves and build that in this episode. But it is something that I believe is a big deal. So the next thing is imposter syndrome is very common, especially if you are not just in tech, not just in cyber, but if you are doing something completely different than what you are used to, it's going to affect you when you start thinking, damn, should I be here? Like, is this something that I should be doing? Am I ready for this? Like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think this is for me. I think I made a mistake. I should just go back to my hole, my cave, and stay there how I was. And I shouldn't try and change my life. Like, that is a real thing. People, like, that crosses your mind. And I knew this was something, but it wasn't until recently where I started seeing, like, a lot of people actually talk about it. And at first I was like, what is imposter syndrome? Like, I didn't even know like what it was. And then I started reading, what it really was. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, yeah, I've suffered through that when I was coming up in my career. There's even times now when John's on vacation to Japan, throws me into the fire, and I'm like, oof, I'm sitting there with the president. I'm sitting there with all these people. And I'm like, should I be here? Like, damn, am I ready for this? Like, John didn't even give me any like cheat notes or nothing. He just said, go do what you got to do. It's like, all right.
Sink or swim. That's how you learn.
Yeah. So even I, sometimes in a position where I start questioning myself, but I really quickly slap myself and say, stop being a little bee. You got this. You've worked your way through this. You've done so much. Like, no one knows this problem like you do. So when you're talking to people, at least in my situation, in my scenario, I'm talking to non-technical people. I'm the most technical person in the room. And I do imagine everybody in their underwear, the whole thing. But I'm like, okay, like, I need to just break this down slowly. I'm talking to non-technical individuals, so I just need to make sure that I present my information that I have, which is accurate and it's legit, as confident as possible, so they can have confidence in me and know, hey, this is taken care of, because it is. Not because I'm trying to fake it, but the last thing you want to do in those situations when you're talking to your boss, a leader, a potential business partner, whoever it is not come off as confident or come off as like, I don't believe I should be here. I'm not good enough to be here. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. So the problem is there. I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. Would love to kind of hear your thoughts about just the whole imposter syndrome, John, and just get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I'll get into it in our next piece. How about that? I've got some examples I don't want to give away yet.
All right. Well, I mean, I say we can move on. So we've talked about the lack of confidence that there is for individuals within cyber, within IT, but this could go along for many other positions. And then we kind of just talked about, imposter syndrome. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what are things that you could do if you are listening and you are suffering from a lack of confidence, or if sometimes you suffer from imposter syndrome, things that you could do to kind of help you build that confidence and kick imposter syndrome to the side and allow you to move forward into your cybersecurity career and move forward along your journey. So, John, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll start with a personal experience, a little short story. I won't make it too long. But in 2001 timeframe, forever ago, I had applied to a job at the Torrington Company, which was this company out of Torrington, Connecticut, that had a distribution center locally. And I didn't know much about it. I knew it was a job that had several servers. They had the network. They had, I would say, maybe 50 endpoints. They had printers. They had scanners. They had everything, right? And there was a guy who was responsible for all the IT work, and he left. And he was really smart. Like, he was a smart dude. They're like, dude, this dude was smart. Now, he didn't have a lot of people skills, but he was smart. But when I applied, I didn't know how to do all that. They had a phone system. I had never touched a phone system. So I applied, and I had the interview. And when I went in, and I was like, look, I felt confident. I really did. I was like, look, whatever. I can figure this out. I can do this. Now, why did I have confidence? I just think because I had a lot of self-learning. I had taught myself a lot and got to that level of like, I can pretty much learn anything. I felt that way, right? And so when they said, well, hey, look, we've got this Unix server that runs the whole warehouse, and you feel good about being able to troubleshoot that and fix that? I was like, yeah, nah, I got this. And I had like barely any Linux experience. But I was like, no, I got this, right? Well, somehow it worked, and I came off confident, and I also had just the personable, like, they liked me, right? They liked me, and it was kind of a night and day compared to the other guy. The other guy was very smart, but they didn't really like him. He was one of those smart guys with a high IQ but low EQ, right? But he was sharp, and so I came in, stepped in his footsteps, and had a lot I'm like starting at square one. So much to learn. Never been in a distribution center. Never been in a warehouse. Never touched so many things. Never touched an AIX Unix server. Never touched a phone system. Never worked with barcode scanning systems. And guess what? I'm it. There's nobody else. There's not a phone a friend. There's not a bring this person in. Oh, I can just get this guy and get him to come back. No, he's gone.
No chat
right?
GPT.
No chat GPT. And guess what? Not only a Unix system, here's this warehouse management system that runs the whole warehouse. And if it stops and we aren't invoicing, that means we're not making money. That means the business is losing money. That's different than like, hey, we can't get students to sign up for a class. That's like, no, we are losing money right now, right? And they're like, and it was one of those moments where I was like, oh man, what did I do? What did I do? Am I capable? Can I figure this out? And a good example was, I'm envisioning and visualizing what this application, the warehouse management system, looked like. It looked like a terminal, looked like very old school, like mainframey look to it. Not a graphical, like click and point and click. It was all keyboard and number keys, right? And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I must have had this dazed look on my face, right? And some of it, I will say, I was faking it until I made it. But then eventually I had to come to a point where I was like, I can't there's no Google for this. I can't just fake this because I can't go find the reference material to even learn to teach myself. So one guy who wasn't a technical guy, his name is Mike Uznansky. We call him the Polak because Uznansky is Polish. He called himself the Polak. But he was a wizard with this application. Not technical at all, but a wizard. And so he kind of took me under his wing and said, hey, let me help you out here. Let me teach you about how this application works, so that you don't just sit there and flounder, because I was floundering, right? And I think there's a couple of lessons from that. Like, I did figure it out, but I had to be humble and had to be honest. Like, hey, I'm going to screw up. And I did screw up. Trust me, I screwed up. And that's where I messed up. And I was like, okay, I can't do that again. Whatever I did and whatever happened, I cannot, as best as possible, I'm going to learn from this screw up and move from there. But then having help and being able to ask for help and not being perfect. So one of the things that I have as a way to get over either imposter syndrome and or how to get your confidence is to know that failure is an option. Some people say failure is not an option, right? You've heard that. But failure is actually failure is how you really learn. For me, you don't want to learn through failure, but when you fail, I'm playing the tape back, right? So what does that mean? When I mess up, I'm on my way home and I'm rewinding the tape. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this happened. Then I did this. Dang, I should have did that, right? Now, when I win or I'm successful, you're not doing that. You did it. You were successful. You made it. You scored the goal, whatever. So you're not doing that. But when you lose or you fail and you screw up, that's when you're going back and say, okay, and this is where you got to do is you got to be okay with that. And you also have to say, I'm going to learn from that, not just be like, well, I screwed up again and I guess it'll happen again. No, you're taking notes because nobody likes that feeling. Nobody likes that feeling of just being embarrassed and be like, I literally I had that feeling in that job of like, right now, I am the only thing keeping this from not working. And I don't know what to do right now. And I have to be honest and say, I don't know, and try to figure it out and get help if I can. But that is not a good feeling. And I never wanted to have that feeling again, but it's going to happen. You're going to have those moments. And if you're trying to prepare and learn and to get into a career or you're in a job, you got to be like, for me, like I'm okay if you mess up, right? As long as you don't screw up too much and it's like bad, right? You got to be reasonable, but that's how you learn. That's how I learn. If I'm screwing up in small ways and I'm learning from that, that's what is important. That's how you do it, right? So failure is an option. And when you go interview at a job and you don't get it, that is a learning experience. That's actually the best way to get feedback if you can, right? Like, hey, okay, they didn't hire me. They didn't pick me. Can I get information on why they didn't pick me? And or how did it go for me during that interview? Maybe they don't tell you. Oh, we picked a different candidate. Okay, well, how did I feel it went? When I'm done with that interview, how did I feel about it? Did I feel confident at the end? And I didn't feel confident. Okay, I flubbed this question. I messed up my points, whatever. Well, okay, that's fine, right? That's why you got to iterate. You got to keep doing it and build on that, and then come back and be like, all right, next time I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be prepared. And they may throw another curveball at me, but at least that past curveball, I was ready for it and I got it, right? So that's my first one. Failure is part of learning. The more you fail and learn, the more you should build your confidence up because you've already made the mistake and you've learned from that mistake. So interviews, being on the job, whatever, the test. I took a test. I took the certification test. I failed it. Okay, that's okay. Learn from those failures.
Yep, absolutely. I completely agree. One thing I wanted to add to what you just said about the interviews. So one thing we've told people that we've coached or mentored is, at the end of the interview when they say, do you have any questions for us? That is a great time for you to ask your questions that you need to about the specific job, the role, whatever. But then also at the end, throw in hey, I am always looking to improve my interview skills, always looking to get better. Is there any feedback you could give me on how things I could do differently to improve, right? It's as simple as that, but leave that towards the end. So make sure you get all your other questions out of the way first and leave that as the end. Not only will that help you if they, you kind of have them trapped, right? If you're doing it in person, you have them in the room, or if you're doing it through Zoom or some virtual way, hopefully they don't hang up on you, but you have them there. Might as well ask for that feedback then and there and not wait and send them a follow-up email and hope that they will take the time to give you that feedback. No, right then and there, ask them. Most people do it. Like I've interviewed people and they've asked me and I thought to myself, oh, dang, that's okay. I respect that. I'll give you some actual feedback, like this is how well you did. These are things that I wish you would have done differently, blah, blah, whatever. But all of that is good feedback for you. Even if oh, I bombed the heck out of this interview, it's okay. You may think you did worse than what you actually did when you kind of hear that feedback that the people around you will give you. So I just wanted to add that last point. So going back to how to build confidence. So for me, it's taking it one step at a time. How do you build confidence when you're doing something, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more practice you have, the more wins you have under your belt, that will slowly build your confidence. It doesn't matter what you do. You can use this for cybersecurity. You can do this for playing sports, whatever. It doesn't matter. The more you do of that thing, the more wins you have of that thing, the more notches you can add to your belt of that thing will slowly build progress. So how can we use that for cybersecurity? Well, we've been talking about this for the beginning of this season, right? Getting back on track, getting your roadmap put together and following your journey. So it could be as easy as working towards passing a certification, or working towards setting up your home lab, or working towards following through and doing a lab within your home lab from start to finish, creating a report, like little things that you can do to help you along your journey. Those are the little wins that will build that confidence. And at the end of the day, you can go back and, like I always say, check those receipts. Look at everything that you've done. You didn't just watch a YouTube video and then go apply for a cybersecurity job. No, you went through hell. You went through hell to get to that point. And by, doing those small wins, one after the other, after the other, after the other, will help you build that confidence. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. And I think by doing those daily wins, what you are doing is you're just providing that proof, that evidence that we even mentioned in the last episode, in the first episode, like those breadcrumbs. I think you made that comment last time, John. You're throwing those breadcrumbs that others will look and see and will understand the journey you went through. And that alone should be one step for you to consider and say, look at everything I've done. Like, I haven't just been sitting on my hands. I did this, I did that. I did do 2 other things over there. Like, I deserve to be here. So that's for me. Just so start small, keep consistency, and go after those small wins. And like I said, they can be as small as doing a lab, setting up your home lab, passing a certification, anything that will help you along your journey to get you to your finish line. Just keep going.
Yeah, I have that one as my backup one, so that's good. I called it the victory snowball, right? So
yeah,
it slowly builds until it becomes momentum. So it's great. Thank you. So my other one, it ties right into that too, is stop chasing confidence, build competence. Right. So there's a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You. And it's all about, do you choose your passion, or do you choose get very good at a thing? Like, people say, choose your passion, follow your passion. Cybersecurity is my passion. I love cybersecurity. Okay. Well, it argues that you should pick a thing, and maybe it's in the cybersecurity domain, and you just get so good at it that it has to be respected and observed, and it will then build confidence. Right. So when you get those reps in, and I've talked about this before, and I've even said this before, is when you feel competent because you have done it so many times that if somebody throws it at you, you are excited. Man, I'm so glad you asked me that question. I've been working on my butt off to try to get good at this thing. Right. And you can't do it for everything. But the things you can control, the things you can actually do, and there's a lot you can do on your own, you can build a competence level that when you walk into an interview and they're asking you questions and they say, hey, I'm going to throw you in this scenario and see how you handle it, right? Again, you're not going to know everything, but you have a competence level that you're going to feel, and you come in the room more confident. Right? When you come into that interview, you come in the room like, hey, I don't know everything, and I've got a lot to learn, but I do know some things. I have a skill level that I have really mastered up to this point that I'm excited to show. I'm excited to share it with you. Nobody can take that away from you, right? And so you come in the door with that, and they can't ignore you, right? They have to respect it. Like, that dude, look, we need that person. That person they have a level. They're at a brown belt level of whatever the skill is, right? So, and it's funny you said receipts. One of the things I had was confidence is something you build. Every skill you gain becomes a receipt your brain can't argue with. imposter syndrome hates receipts.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
So your brain is like, wait a minute. Well, I can't argue. He is pretty good at that. I can't argue. He's actually pretty good at that, right? So when your two halves are arguing, like, man, you're not ready for this. Well, hang on over here. Look, let me show you.
Yes, sir.
Look, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at this. And it's hard for that to argue. And your other side of your left side, whatever, it's hard to argue. So I think it's really about building competence and getting the reps to build competence that you can control, that when no matter, this is in your job, this is in your career, this is in your whatever, when you have that competence built, then you're going to be more confident. So that's my second point.
No, I love that. I absolutely love that. I agree with that 110%. And I really don't have much to add. I think you did a great job explaining it, and I believe it. So I will move on to my next point. And it's something we have talked about on episode 1, we've talked about on episode 2, and we're talking about again in episode 3. And we're going to keep talking about it this season because it is one of the most important things anyone, doesn't matter what you are doing, anyone can have to be successful. Can you guess it? Can you guess it? Have a community. Have a community. Get feedback. Feedback is the slayer of imposter syndrome. When you have people you respect, when you have people that you believe in, that you look up to, that you want to be like, and they are telling you, John, you're killing it, my friend. You are killing. You're going to kill this interview. You are doing great. That lab you posted on LinkedIn, whew, how was it? Was it tough? It looked tough, but you killed it. I mean, all of that is just like a freaking confidence booster pill on steroids. Like, you would have to be numb and not even a real person to not like feel good that someone, whether you're working with them or you're trying to follow them or be like them, that they are not like giving you kudos. Like, who doesn't like to hear, dude, you're doing a great job, keep it up? Or, for example, I had one of my guys, he did a great job. He always does a great job, I have to say. He always does great. He's one of the top guys I got. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that so-and-so, not only is he a hard worker and does a great job, but he's a team player. And I wanted to give you some kudos because a lot of people don't get a lot of kudos in this industry. And I said, you know what? I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate you sharing that with me, because now I'm going to go talk to him and I'm going to let him know that you said that. But like, dude, you should see, like, when I had that conversation with my guy, he was like, he lit up. He was like, really? Like, oh, thank you. Yeah. I was trying to do my best. Like, that right there is just the power of just having a community, having people that, the feedback sometimes may be good and may be bad, but just knowing no matter what I do and no matter what I share, this group is going to give me some true hardcore feedback. And they are doing it from a place of love, that they are trying to help me grow and get better. Not only that, but then when you're actually killing it and doing something great, and they are, you put your heart, your sweat, your tears, your blood into this, and you present it to the world, whatever it may be, or you just let the world know what you've done, what you've accomplished, and you have this community of people that are there to say, dude, congratulations, man. Applause to you. That was awesome. Like, we understand the trouble and the headache, and you are awesome. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, we're looking up to you. Like that right there, having that community, having that feedback, having those people, those connections, hands down. It doesn't matter what you do, even if it's cybersecurity, if it's something else, even if you want to be an astronaut, whatever. Having people that have your back, that you can be open with and understand what you're going through, game changer. So I will go ahead and drop the mic right here.
No, that's perfect. That was another one I thought about, but I'm glad you brought it up. So yeah, those are some ways. So let's recap, right? So my first one is about failure. Failure is your friend. Fail fast and iterate. Steve, what was your first one?
Yes, my first was about small wins, man. Just small wins. Keep going after it. Be consistent. Consistency is key. every single small win that you accomplish, that you post will help build that confidence.
Yep, the victory snowball. And then my second one was just about competence builds confidence. So building your skills helps you prepare and will help you be more confident.
Yep.
And then the final one.
Yeah, for me was just have a community. Have a community of people that you trust, that you look up to, that you want to get feedback from, and that you feel safe and confident enough to actually share what you are doing, share your struggles, share your victories, because they will have your back and they will be honest with you and they understand your struggles. So community, community, community.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that leads right into our pitch for our school community. So thank you.
Yes.
Our theme this season, I think, is community.
Yep.
And we talked about, we kicked off our school community. We've been sharing it in the previous episodes. We're kind of making it the thing. This is the thing we're excited about and we're building up. So come check out the school community. We've got a good group started. We need you there. We want you there. We want to help you. We want to be there and encourage you, right, as you're on your journey and you get struggles and you have some, feelings of that inadequacy, right? Like, we're here to back you up. Like, yeah, look, let me give you some feedback. So come in there, come join the community. We've got a few things about, like, you can share where you are, where you're from, what you're interested in, what your goals are. I've got a poll in there I put about what your goals for this year are. You can share your goals, but just interact and connect with others. We're going to have weekly hangouts where we're just hanging out. It's not a big slideshow. It's just, hey, hang out with us, bring your questions. We can chat about whatever, and happy to help out and build our community there. So come check out school. The link is in the description, but it's the Cybersecurity Mentors on School, SKOOL.
Yes, thank you, John. And I just want to say this. Look, you guys are probably tired of it already, and you're going to get tired of it because we're going to mention it at pretty much every episode because we believe in it. It is something that will help, absolutely will help you. And this platform is the key to not only your success, but the entire community's success. So come join us. Also, we're back on our own YouTube channel. So if you haven't yet and you like what you see and you hear, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification so you know when some new stuff drops. We are posting on a weekly schedule. So every Thursday at 9:30 Eastern, you will see our ugly mugs again and talking about any topics that we think you guys will benefit from and things that we find interesting as well. So with that being said, that's a wrap for episode 3 on building confidence in cybersecurity and kicking imposter syndrome. Come back for the next episode, episode 4. But until then,
we'll see you.